Students, welcome to Masterclass. Produced by Victoire. The Masters of Wrestling gives a special thanks to Mr. Jesse Hernandez.
Students of professional wrestling, welcome back to Masterclass, the #1 wrestling podcast in the entire world. Today, we're going to be talking about an old WWE pay-per-view event, one night only, and some shocking revelations that you may not have heard about that particular event. My name is the Master, Amir. I'm one of your co-stars, along with my co-star, all the way from Canada, the bodacious suave, Matthew Jacobs.
All right, let's go. Let's go back in time here, eh, Amir?
We're going to go back in time, but before we go anywhere, Matthew, all of you viewers, smash the subscribe button, hit the likes, share with your friends, and consider joining and becoming a member because we're going to record a hot one this week, a hot diggity dog topic, and you're not going to want to miss that one. So yeah, we're going to go back in time now, all the way back to 1997, and it's shocking that it seems so long ago, but there was a lot of controversy in the WWF at that time. We didn't realize it as kids. We didn't even see it back then. But now the picture is becoming clearer and clearer. So let's go to the main event. It was Shawn Michaels. DX were in their early stages with Triple H and China. And it was Shawn against the British Bulldog. Now, I was there. I was in attendance at that event. What a tremendous event it was. In fact, the other day, and let me just plug myself here for a moment here, bodacious one. I was watching the other day as Triple H, you know, my uncle. I'm ashamed to call him my uncle, but Triple H, as he's coming down, if you look to the right in the opening match, you'll see my young little face right there. I was in awe at the time. Of course, now I'm in awe for other reasons, for the sheer stupidity of the company. But back then, it was a different subject. But anyway, Matthew, so we go into the main event. The British Bulldog had his sister there, who was actually dying of cancer, I believe, at the time. Is that correct?
Yes, it's true.
The Bulldog was the European champion. Okay, yes, and Shawn, what was Shawn at the time? Was he the IC champion, or is he?
He was just a challenger.
Just a challenger. Okay, but we have this big event. It was in Birmingham, England, Bulldog's home country. So, Matthew, you brought this to my attention. Tell our viewers exactly how all this broke down, this controversy.
Well, let's reverse a little bit because you were there.
Yes.
Right? You were
Yes.
there, and you showed me the evidence. They asked you and your friend who was going to win that match.
Mm-hmm.
And your friend got the 5 seconds of fame, but you actually called it who was going to win.
Yes, I
Why?
did.
Why at such a young age did you have a feeling that Shawn Michaels was going to win?
Intuition. Probably just because I am a master in general, though, bodacious suave. It's because, no, seriously. But yeah, it's a feeling I had because I just looked at the bigger picture and I saw the writing on the wall. Shawn was getting pushed to the moon. They were going in a new direction. It was the Attitude Era was in its infancy. And for some reason, I just felt like the Bulldog was going to be used as fodder at that time. I feel that I don't even think we hadn't had that moment where Vince said we think you're tired of good guy versus bad guy. That hadn't even happened yet, but I could see it coming. And I remember when my dear buddy, shout out to Richard, who I still talk to this day. That was Richard who got on camera, and I remember telling him right after. I said, I told you to say that Shawn was going to win. Why did you say Davey was going to win? Now we look stupid, right? Okay, but no, and again for good reason. But now explain to our audience, Matthew, what was supposed to have happened that night and what ended up happening and why Shawn won.
Well, according to a brother-in-law, the hitman said the original plan was for Bulldog to win. Because when you think of it, Amir, though, there was no build-up, right, for that match?
Not really. It was just like a glorified house show. Looked like a pay-per-view.
Right, exactly. And when I look back now and think of it, though, Shawn didn't need the European title.
No, he didn't.
I don't there was no benefit, right? Like,
Not at all.
and he was already in line to fight Brett a month later, less than a month later, at the Survivor Series in Montreal. So
Correct.
shouldn't you focus on that? So, anyways, they put this match together, which I think was for Davey and to promote wrestling in England, right?
Hmm.
And Bulldog was supposed to go over,
Hmm.
but you had two crybabies back there who were running the show and in Vince's ear,
Hmm.
and apparently got it changed relatively at the last minute. So Bulldog brought his sister, who lived in England, to come out with him and all that, which I'm sure was great for her, obviously,
Hmm.
and him, a proud moment. So if you're going to make him lose, why bring her out?
That's true.
Like, it doesn't kind of make sense to me.
Do you think it was so literally this was spun in a different direction right before curtain? It sounds like. I mean, because
Maybe not, but certainly that day. Yeah, because certainly by the time the event started, I think. I don't know if it was by the curtain time, but it was kind of like, okay, change of plans here, calling an audible. And, they were heavily running a lot of stuff.
yeah,
These two guys, they tried to get The Rock fired.
right. I've heard of that. We're
You
talking about
know,
Shawn and Triple H.
and Hunter, their egos were really big, and Vince loved everything they said, and those two guys never got in trouble. And it's fine. It is what it is, but I don't understand what was the benefit. Like, because when you think of it, when Shawn won the belt, he didn't do nothing with it. I don't even think
No,
he didn't even defend it once. I don't think.
no, he just gave it to Triple H after he won the world title at Survivor Series.
Yeah, a month after that, and did a stupid match. I think they did, like, he just laid down and Hunter ran across the ropes multiple times and pinned him. Like, just stupidity. Anyways,
Yeah.
she comes out, and a happy moment for the Bulldog family. Now, my issue is Shawn Michaels wins.
Hmm.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And they attack Bulldog and beat him up. I
Hmm.
guess Rick Rude, China, and the whole DX. And the Hearts don't come out to save him.
That's true. And Owen and Brett were there in attendance.
Exactly. And probably Neidhart too, right? It's like, well, wait a minute. We know the Hearts are backstage. Where are they? Usually there's
Yeah.
always like a save and all that or something,
Yeah.
right? But they were told, no, do not come out. So how stupid does that look?
Well, as you're saying this, as we're investigating this for all of our students out there, as the masters deliberate, um, you got to look at this. This was a point where we talked about this off camera. Brett was going to be leaving in November, about 6 weeks later, he was going to be gone, right?
Yeah,
So,
but none of it was finalized yet. They were still talking and how to make this don't forget, people, I don't know if people know the whole story here. Brett didn't want to leave.
right.
He did not want to leave. Vince forced him out. Brett even said, listen, I don't care about the money. Just make a commitment to me. I don't care. I
Mhm.
don't, because I know if I go to WCW, they're not going to do anything with me.
Mhm.
But it came down to Shawn Michaels being such a prick and being disrespectful. That's why he didn't want to lose. And I have a feeling a lot of wrestlers from the past too don't know that story. They think it's Brett just didn't want to lose in Canada and whatever. No, that's not the story.
Mhm.
It's because Shawn Michaels disrespected him backstage and said, I would never do the job for you.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
Brett's like, well, then why would I do a job for you? Because if I do a job for you and then Vince says, okay, Brett, you're going to get the belt back. Shawn already said, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's like, well, screw this. I'm not doing this with this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a lot of childish behavior coming from Shawn Michaels at the time. I mean, again, you could argue he was only 32. A lot of 32-year-olds are still very immature, sadly. But what I see is a systematic. I think everybody knew they wanted the Hearts out, and it wouldn't surprise me actually. Wouldn't surprise me. We love breaking stories. We love breaking news here and exposing the truth that you've missed. It wouldn't surprise me if Shawn and my good old Uncle Paul hadn't politicked to actually get the whole Hart family out of the WWE. Because burying the Bulldog in Birmingham, okay, I mean, pretty much that's when they buried the British Bulldog, right there. at One Night Only. Because after that, think about it. Did he do much at Survivor Series 97? Was he in an elimination match?
Yeah,
Okay.
he won it. He won it.
Okay. But then after that, he was gone. And
WCW.
so was Neidhart, and so was Brett. So it seems to me that maybe even Shawn and Triple H should politic to get them out. But I think One Night Only was the beginning of the end, and that's why they buried the Bulldog. Like you said, what did Shawn do with the European title? In fact, after Hunter what did Hunter do with it? It just disintegrated. It
No,
vanished.
I think he lost it to Owen. I think.
Oh,
I
okay.
think they gave it to Owen a little bit after, and but then Triple H, formed his own DX crew because
A,
Shawn left.
a poor D version of DX, I will add.
Yeah,
Uh,
but that's where Triple H really became and started getting everything. Shawn left right by WrestleMania 14, I think.
yes, WrestleMania 14.
Which,
So,
yeah, but like a lot of people lose in their hometown, right? That's kind of like because it's easy to get the sympathy when you
yeah, yeah.
lose that in your hometown, right? But to lose that way
Hmm.
with your dying sister there in attendance, and
Yeah.
then the hearts don't come out. I mean, people, come on, let's be realistic. Give me a real tag team here. I mean, I can't even give you a real tag team, but the tribal chief people here, if they're getting attacked in the ring, someone's coming out to save
Yeah.
them,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest here.
Hmm.
But with Bulldog, no, they beat the crap out of him. I think they even took his like knee brace off him and like beat him with it, and goes off air.
You know what, Matthew, let's pose it to our viewers right now. Okay. Let's switch gears. Okay. Viewers watching this, students, slap us with a super sticker. Of course, we won't answer your question if you don't. Slap us with a super sticker and give us your thoughts, your questions if you want them answered here on the channel. But I want to know from you. I want to hear from you guys. This doesn't require a super sticker. In your thoughts, do you think that Shawn and Triple H politicked to get the British Bulldog, Bret Hart, Jim Neidhart out of the WWE? Do you think that it was a very well orchestrated plan to make Davey lose in England, that very popular event? It was a very good event overall. Very strange. Do you think there was conspiracies involved? Or you can just say we're simply reading too much into it. We want to know. Isn't that right, Matt?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they really did. I mean, I know it's obvious they wanted the power, right?
Mm-hmm.
And be on top, and they wanted, the most money, I'm sure, and because there was no guaranteed contracts back then, right?
No, not unless you were them.
Yeah, and you got, dependent on pay-per-view sales, etc. But if you're on the lower card, you're not making top dollars. So I'm
Yeah.
sure they were in it for themselves, right? The Click,
Yep.
they all
They were.
wrestled each other.
Yep.
Every pay-per-view they would rotate and just wrestle each other. Razor Ramon 1, 2, 3 Kid, Diesel, Shawn Michaels, they're tag team champions, blah blah blah. Like, it was
Yep.
stupid.
It was stupid. Like I said, I mean, it was a kind of ridiculous time. But again, having gone into this little brief segment here with One Night Only, I've got nothing but great memories. I have a royalty check that still comes in on a monthly basis for my appearance in that. So, that's something I can always cherish. In fact, I just got my check a couple of days ago for that. It was a nice, juicy one this time, Matthew. $3,500. So, I mean, people
Wow.
watching One Night Only. So, speaking of
When
watching, what?
when
What was
you
that?
when you left, like, were you satisfied, like, that Shawn won and all that? Like, what was your what did it did I we were so young and we didn't know all the stuff in the backstage and the politics and that. But I mean, did you go home happy at the end of the day after the card?
No, and I'll tell you why we did not actually, because my friend and I, my dear friend, Richard, we had actually tried to correspond with Davey that night. We had actually printed about 30 letters that we'd written, and we handed them to Earl Hebner, to Mike Chioda. I don't know who else was there. No, maybe not Mike. I think it was Earl Hebner and some other guys to take backstage to Davey, because obviously I already knew what my uncle was up to. So we were trying to communicate with Davey, and we waited for him at the end of the night because we honestly thought he'd read our letter and come out and meet us, but it never happened. So needless to say, we were kind of sad about that. But I think overall, in terms of satisfaction of a wrestling event, I was kind of, 3/4% satisfied, I would say. It was still the old school WWF, kind of. It was right before the attitude complete, change. But overall, I'd say 75% content with what I'd watched that night.
I find when you look at the card, though, there was no buildup.
No, there was no buildup. But remember, we still had Carpenter talent at the time. So it wasn't always a Monday Night Raw is a pay-per-view. We still had the Carpenter. We still had WWF Superstars. We still had Wrestling Challenge or Action Zone, as it were, at the time. So we still had that kind of, we didn't have superstar against superstar every week, which, Matthew, is going to lead us into our next segment. So I think we'll put a pin in this one right there. We've given our students enough of our time so far today, but we will be back, ladies and gentlemen, for more segments this week on Masterclass. Make sure that you subscribe. Bodesha Suave, any closing statements before I send us away?
No, I miss those times. 97. It was real. I took it to heart as a kid. I mean, it was magic.
He did take it.
It was fun. It was fun times. Looking back, even the BS, but that was fun stuff to watch back then. It was just real.
Yeah, exactly. 1997 WWF hands down destroys 2025 WWE. No question. All right, lady. All right, students of the game. We will be back. Until the next one, God bless.
Fans, the time has come for you to flex your appreciation in style. The Masters of Wrestling delivers the most truthful pro wrestling content week in, week out. And now we want you to show your support wherever you go. Power and Glory, the podcast t-shirts. Order yours now. Styling, the podcast t-shirts. Order yours now. To order your t-shirt and for shipping information, use the email